lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
From Phoenix Raceway, the Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series has finally arrived at Championship Week here on Racing Media. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Avondale, Arizona, where after 22 long weeks, these drivers are ready to crown the 2023 TNN Truck Series champion. The 2023 Truck Series has seen many ups and downs this year, their first season paired with Racing Media. And I'll tell you what, drivers come and go, sponsors changed, but the racing is hotter than ever here in the desert. Tonight, though, we're focused on the Championship 4. Channing Ballou from Pensacola, Florida, our neighbor from the north, Gabriel Lafreniere, the 2023 M&N Xfinity Series champion, Brandon Minto, and Jeremy Paris. These drivers have battled one another all season, and it all comes down to this. Now it's winner take all when the checkered flag flies after dueling for 150 laps in the desert. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Racing Media. And folks, Glad to have you with us as always, and I'll tell you what, it has been an incredible week here in the SNN family of racing series. Of course, you know, we've had our champions crowned in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, and tonight now we turn our attention here to the Truck Series. And just as qualifying has gotten underway about 2 minutes ago, we're going to take a look here at old Matt White in the 48 from Stewartville, Minnesota. Aaron Mack, of course, who lost just barely to Brandon Minto last night in the Xfinity Series here in his number 31 Chevrolet Silverado from Fort Riley, Kansas. Brian Tarnowski out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, has his number 28 on his opening lap tonight, waiting to lay down a lap time. And, of course, making his return to the TNN Truck Series, Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, driving his traditional number 70 811 NC811 Ford F-150. And, folks, I want to welcome everybody into the YouTube.com live chat. Hopefully, speaking of Stoney Benfield, we've got the congregation with us, as I'm looking forward to seeing all of his cheering crowd. And, of course, once he finishes his qualifying effort, this young man right here out of Norman, Oklahoma, brought home the checkered flag and the 2023 A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series Championship last night, right here on this very asphalt. As Brandon Minto crosses the start-finish line, we can see him already taking a pretty easy entry here into 1 and 2. We're going to get a chance to talk to all 4 of our championship drivers tonight, assuming they're in our Discord channel. But, of course, Brandon Minto still riding that high last night. His Uncle Scott was cracking open a Miller Lite for him. And, you know, I'll tell you what, I was ready to crack open a Miller Lite too, and I don't even like anything out of Milwaukee. As he goes 6th fastest on his first lap. We see him bobble just a little bit coming out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Of course, as we've mentioned so many times over the years, this racetrack reconfigured several years ago. And, of course, now the backstretch is the front stretch and vice versa. And as he crosses the start-finish line, he will not improve that positioning. But let's see if we can get a hold of old Brandon. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave.
I mean, I shouldn't even say Brandon. I should say, hey, champ. Listen.
It has a good ring to it.
Listen, another congratulations to you last night. You're going for another championship. Can you go back-to-back here in these 2 series?
I sure hope so. I know Baloo has a crazy fast car tonight, so it's going to be tough to beat him. I'm going to have to hope him or Paris end up making mistakes or something. I don't think I have as good of a car tonight or truck tonight that I had as a car last night. So I think I'm going to have to try to luck into this one tonight.
I mean, listen, Channing Baloo, always a tough competitor, and, you know, at least you know what it's hitting for, because I'll tell you what, week after week we've seen him really lay down some incredible lap times. But, you know, here we are for another championship night. Of course, you know, your Uncle Scott's there cracking open a Miller Lite. Of course, here in the broadcast booth, I'll be doing the same, just a different brand. And I want to thank you for making it exciting last night for the conclusion of the 2023 Xfinity Series.
Oh, it's my pleasure putting on a show for you. You always put on a great broadcast for us to go watch and everything. So definitely showed last night around quite a bit, showed a lot of my friends at work and everything, showed what I do in my spare time whenever I'm at home. And at first they think it's kind of nerdy, and then they end up watching it. They're like, oh my gosh, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that was a thing. So hopefully I can end up bringing more people into this iRacing world and get a lot more people on the service.
Trust me, I know the feeling. In fact, the only time in my life when I have to explain to somebody what we do that I felt like, hey, this is okay, is when I've gone to different racetracks. You know, Dover and Miami Homestead this year, it's like, oh, iRacing, oh, everybody knows about it. But if I say something, you know, sitting at the local watering hole, they're like, I'm sorry, you do what now?
Yeah, like a lot of people think it's kind of like NASCAR Heat or anything, kind of like those
Right.
games where you just get like a controller and they're like, oh, it's just arcade. And then I show them like the broadcast. They're like, oh my gosh, it looks like I'm watching a real life race right now. I'm like, yeah, this is a simulator. This is pretty much real life, about as close as you can get.
Yeah, it's like saying that it's an action figure, not a toy.
Absolutely.
Trust me. All right, man. Well, listen, good luck tonight. And listen, I'm hoping to see you here at Victory Lane again.
Oh, I sure hope so. Have a good one, Dave.
Going to move him back up into eSports. Now let's see if we can get a hold of Channing Ballou, as I don't see him. It looks like Brandon was our only one of the Championship 4 who's in our Discord chat. So unfortunately not going to be able to talk to the other drivers. So that being said, I always try to take the time to talk to this young man right here, the faster pastor, Mr. Stoney Benfield, driver the number 70, NC811.org, F150. Hey, Pastor, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I sure do, Dave. How you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm good. I wanted to make a point to welcome you back home here, as I missed you the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I either been preaching somewhere or been out of town or something going on, and I'm looking forward to racing tonight, Dave.
Well, man, listen, nobody's going to tell you that you really should have passed up on spreading the gospel over iRacing.
That's right. Yeah, we got to keep our priorities right, don't we, Dave?
Well, you know, it's funny. I was going through my closet the other day, and I was getting rid of some of the old clothes. And, you know, they've got these new Christian graphic tees that come out all the time. And I thought to myself, I wore one at a place a couple of months ago, and somebody said, hey, I like your shirt. It just says, y'all need Jesus. So I thought maybe instead of replacing my graphic tees with more sports stuff, that I was going to start replacing them with Christian sayings. Because who's going to make fun of Jesus?
That's
And
right.
if they do, then they just get their name added to a prayer list.
That's it, buddy. Man, we need to tell everybody we can about Jesus, don't we, Dave? Time's running out, man.
Amen.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm right there with you, and I know that we're going to get to hang out for eternity together in that big iRacing simulator in the sky. If he says, if I've got a mansion, then I know that it's got to have at least one room for iRacing.
Oh, goodness. Looking forward to tonight, man. Thank you so much for
Yes, sir. Welcome to Championship Week. We're glad to have you back here at home where you belong, and we'll see you on the other side, man.
Yep, I'm going for the win tonight, Dave.
Attaboy.
Jesus, take the wheel, man.
He certainly will. Thank you, sir. Good luck. And, of course, now, with a few minutes left here, we want to see if we can get a hold of, let's see, another driver who has been absent for the last couple of weeks from the ranks here, from Cross Junction, Virginia, driver of the number 9. It's Jeff Carson. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I mean, here we are in Championship Week. You make your return as Chris is delivering his always electrifying opening comments. But what are you thinking tonight as you're ready to boogie around Phoenix?
Well, I'm just going to have some fun. Last race of the season. Just let the playoff drivers do their thing, and I'm just going to ride around and have some fun. Wait till the last stage, and then I may try to do a little bit of racing, but I don't want to be the person that wrecks a playoff driver.
Trust me, I understand. Well, listen, if you see that door open, you run in that door.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, I will do my best, and I'll talk to you a little bit later.
That, of course, the voice of Jeff Carson, driver of the number 9 Toyota Tundra out of Cross Junction, Virginia, a name that I haven't gotten to call for the last couple of weeks. So always glad to see some of these drivers make the return, even if it is the last week of the season. Taking a look at Channing Ballou in the Zinn number 88 Chevrolet Silverado. Of course, tonight, very Chevy heavy, just 3 blue ovals in the field and 4 Toyota Tundras in the field tonight. As we're going to get a chance real quick here, because we've really boned this the last couple of nights, as Phoenix is a differently oriented track. We want to look at our qualifying results, as Channing Ballou going to be starting on the pole position with Jeremy Paris Starting in second, Claude Furland. Starting on the inside of row number 2 was Sylvain Joly in fourth. Matt White, Brandon Minto, Stoney Benfield, Sean Rogers, Aaron Mack, and Chris Claude, or as Gabriel Lafreniere last night called him, and I'm going to do it forever, that's Chris Claude in his number 10 Toyota Tundra. Gabriel Lafreniere, the fourth of our final 4 tonight here, starting in 11th position with Ron Fitting in 12th, Brian Tarnowski in 13th, Jeff Carson in 14th, Rich Jet Steve Herring, and out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, John Wilco, going to be starting 17th. And shotgun on the field belongs to my brother from another mother, Mr. Rander Watkins, out of Miami, Florida, driving that number 27, Miami Fire and Rescue Ford F-150. So going to be 18 trucks when the green flag flies tonight. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see all of these drivers hit the asphalt because they have worked for an incredibly long time this season to put this together. As we see Sylvain Joly here in his 08 Axon LED Toyota Tundra. He comes down here. He's going to check his pit road speed because I'll tell you what, we may have some green flag stops tonight. And as we talk about that, I want to pull up that beautiful bean footage of the race info. 70 degrees if you're sitting in the stands tonight here in Avondale, Arizona, with the track temperature being 71, so that's just about as tight as it's going to get for grip tonight. 150 laps the total distance. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 45. Stage 2 ends at the conclusion of lap number 90, and these drivers are going to have a total of 6 sets of tires. So they're going to be laying 5, starting 6 sets of tires. So that pit window going to be all kinds of interesting. About a 30-lap, window for tires, and then you think to yourself, with stages, the first 2 stages at 45 laps apiece, they're going to be able to squeeze that grip right out of there for that whole distance as we get ready to be underway tonight. Of course, Channing Ballou out of Pensacola, still getting his warm-up laps in. Jeremy Paris, our other championship Ford driver from Flowery Branch, Georgia, he is just behind fellow Final Four. In fact, the Final Four all separated right now by about 0.2 of a second on the warm-up timing line from Gabriel Lafreniere in his 06 Oxmoor F-150 from St. Jude. Brandon Minto here in his Miller Lite, so a pair of beers going at it. Jeremy Paris, no sponsor, as he just wants to be the man in black tonight. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. And of course, remember, Pensacola, Florida's Channing Ballou. These drivers have worked a lot this season on their craft. Some of them have absolutely dominated this league, like Channing Ballou with 10 wins on the season. Gabriel Lafreniere has 3 wins on the season. Jeremy Paris has 2, but Brandon Minto, none. He's in here on points. And let me tell you, after watching what Brandon did last night in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series, I can't wait to see what he puts together for this run tonight. As the drivers are climbing into the cockpit of these race trucks, we're going to look through this starting grid once again. Starting on the pole position, going to be Channing Ballou. He's got the 88 Zinn Chevrolet Silverado alongside Jeremy Paris on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 going to feature Claude Furland in the number 43 along with his teammate Sylvain Joly from Saint-Eustache, Quebec on the outside of row number 2. Matt White and Brandon Minto going to be featured in row number 3, while the faster pastor, Mr. Stoney Benfield, has his F-150 on the inside of row number 4. Sean Rogers in the 44 from Kalamazoo, Michigan, starting on the outside of row number 4, while just behind him in the number 31, Aaron Mack, paired with Chris Claude. Gabriel Lafreniere and Ron Fitting in row number 6, while Jeff Carson and Brian Tarnowski going to be in row number 7. Steve Herring and Rich Jet going to make up row number 8, while Randall Watkins and John Wilco going to be starting in the final row of the field tonight. course, because of how long pit road is, we're going to see a nice early attempt here while the iRacing.com pace car makes that hard left turn down pit road.
Pace car starting to pick up a little bit of pace as they come out of turn number 4. Pace car's getting ready to peel it on off. It's going to make that hard left turn down pit road as we get ready to turn them loose. The only thing is left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Race fans, it's showtime!
Channing Ballou with a good jump over Jeremy Paris to get this race underway. Side by side goes Claude Ferland and Sylvain Joly. Joly starting to drift back a little bit while Matt White works the low side. A pretty clean start to the beginning of this piece while Sean Rogers is contending with Stoney Benfield on the low side. The Hooters double 4 working just over the 70. And sideways as we have our first caution of the evening. Looks like it's going to be Claude Ferland on the inside. Let's see what happened here. Going to take a look right here at Claude Ferland as he comes out of turn 4. The cold tires bite him, and he just brings the rear end of the 43 around. No harm, no foul, but the first caution of the evening comes out here on lap number 3. Technically, lap number 2 is everybody's going to get themselves racked and stacked all over again. As the iRacing.com pace car crosses the start-finish line, we should have 2 laps back to green here. So we're going to see who we might be able to chat with real quick. In fact, let me get a hold of Brian Tarnowski from MPG Racing. What in the world? I suddenly lost that control. There he is. Hey, Brian, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me. Hey, Brian, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Hey, Brian, it's Dave. Nope. Must be out of radio range down there in the number 28. But as Channing Ballou and the iRacing.com pace car cross the start-finish line, light's going to go out this time. We're going to get double filed once again. Kip Cook in our YouTube.com live chat cheering on Stoney Benfield, the Faster Pastor. Glad to have you with us, Kip. Make sure that you go get Barbara and everybody else that used to tune in every week to watch the Faster Pastor. I miss everybody. Glad to have you with us. I want to thank everybody out there watching us on YouTube for making it worthwhile to be here every week, you know, here on Sim Racing Media as I sit here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We'll get in a little bit deeper on that later on this evening, but right now the iRacing.com pace car makes its hard left turn. He's going to start making his way toward the end of pit road where he will wait expectantly as Channing Ballou going to have control of the field, rolls it out of turn number 4. He hits the Geico restart zone, and we're back underway. They go all but 3 wide as Sylvain Joly, Brandon Minto, and Jeremy Paris haul it off here into turn number 1. Jeremy Paris going to take P2 away from Minto and Joly. as Channing Ballou just absolutely dominating his restart. And it looks like Brandon kind of sliding back here, maybe waiting to get into that single file, get those tires warmed up, and start making his attack here tonight. As we take a look just behind him, this is an angry hornet's nest. For some reason, as Aaron Mack hot on the heels of Sean Rogers. Now Aaron Mack working the low side underneath the faster passer, Stoney Benfield, just ahead of Gabriel Lafreniere in the Oxmoor F-150. Of course, right now, Gabriel running in 8th position, the furthest driver back in our championship for tonight, as he takes that apron position here and gets just a little bit more speed, but not necessarily enough to get the run over Stoney. Meanwhile, Aaron Mack had all kinds of momentum coming into turns 1 and 2. He secures away P6 from Lafreniere, and that leaves Sean Rogers behind Brandon Minto. So right now, 3 out of those championship 4 drivers running all by their lonesome here atop the pile. They're just waiting for Lafreniere to get here onto the dance floor. And right now, the fly in the ointment would be Gabriel Lafreniere's teammate, Sylvain Joly. It's almost like he's holding himself, his teammate, a spot here at the table for when the time is right. So obviously, things starting to organize themselves here. 10 laps as we cross the start-finish line, going past that iconic Phoenix Raceway cactus. And I got to tell you, once upon a time, I thought that's kind of goofy. But, the more that it's grown on me, the more I think, actually, it's kind of cool. Aaron Mack right now still in a tight battle here as Ron Fitting is going to go side by side with Randall Watkins. And I'll tell you what, right now, Randall's got to turn up the heat to get around Ron Fitting, as Fitting thinks that he can flash over Randall. Looks like Fitting going to have the edge here on the low side underneath Watkins, as Watkins rolls to 27 here on the high side. Watching from just behind, as he often does, is Jeff Carson. And Jeff has a history as a driver here in this league of waiting for other drivers to make a mistake. I mean, he's back here just kind of lurking. He has a style a lot like 2021 champion Truck Series driver Bob Nestor, who, basically won that championship on waiting for other people to make mistakes and being in the right place at the right time. So Jeff Carson, swings it down low here and now tightens himself back up against the wall. But, Nestor basically walked into that championship with just waiting for somebody to make a mistake. And each time it had to happen, it broke his way. And he brought home that championship in 2021. Channing Ballou now with about a half-second lead over Jeremy Paris, while Rich Jett now getting the double natural, that 77 machine, right up behind Stoney Benfield. About a third of the way through stage number 1 as we get ready to cross the start-finish line for lap number 15. Chris Claude now getting ready to work his way around Brian Tarnowski, who was kind of giving a wiggle here as if to throw Claude off. As Claude running behind Tarnowski, looking for any kind of edge. And I got to wonder what he thinks he's going to get here. But, of course, Brian Tarnowski offering a prize tonight for the top finishing non-playoff driver. And right now, that would be Sylvain Joly. Sean Rogers in the number 44 Chevrolet Silverado working the high side of Gabriel Lafreniere. Lafreniere finally working his way up into 6th position and now creeping around Brandon Minto. All 4 of these championship 4 drivers are in the top 5. Sylvain Joly, the only fly in the ointment, so to speak, as he is running all by his lonesome here between Jeremy Paris in 2nd and Brandon Minto in 4th. Channing Ballou and Jeremy Paris right now, where they began this race in 1st and 2nd, respectively. And at this point, our biggest mover of the race is Rich Jett in the double natural. That's 77, up 7 positions, running in 8th. So he's about to hit that magic 777 if he can work his way around Stoney Benfield. He's thinking about splitting it 3 wide here between Rogers and Benfield, but I don't think it's really necessary this early. But he's still flirting with the ideas. He's got Matt White in the 48 just underneath him. We're going to go 2 by 2 on the way to the arc, and if you need an arc, I know a guy. There's Barbara. Barbara Pinion, glad to have you back. Amanda Price cheering on Sean Rogers. This is a new one for me. Rogers in the truck. I'll tell you what, Amanda, if he can do it in the Xfinity car, he can do it right here in the truck series. But Barbara, glad to have you back with us. Amanda, I think you're going to like this league here tonight, as a lot of these folks that are checking in here in the youtube.com live chat are longtime viewers of the Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com truck series. Of course, their first season here. Oh, wow. Boy, boy. As they come ripping through here, they look like a pack of angry hornets. But, this league are 3 wide. 3 wide, Matt White, the meat in the middle of that sandwich between Rogers and the 77 of Rich Jett. Matt White aggressing his way through those 2, just said, get out of my way, I know where I'm trying to go. Now he's got Sean Rogers angry and on the tailgate of that 48. Because I'll tell you what, I'm not saying that was a dirty move, but it was definitely a little too soon, too early. Too much too early, that is. As we're just on lap 22 of 150, about halfway through stage number 1 here at Phoenix Raceway. But, this league, their first year here on Sim Racing Media, of course, last year and the year before, actually from 2020 through last year, they weren't broadcast hardly at all, except for some experimental stuff with the Independence Racing Network. And, of course, Burnt Rubber Media carrying some of it. A little bit of indigestion after dinner tonight, folks. Sometimes not always that great of an idea to eat something full of acid right beforehand. Once again, a good start here for these drivers, a lot like last night's A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity series. As right now, Channing Ballou leading Jeremy Paris, Sylvain Joly, Brandon Minto, and Gabriel Lafreniere. So your 4 championship drivers are running here in the top 5. Stoney Benfield starting to flirt with the top 5, so we may see a little bit of salad bowl action here, as maybe Sylvain Joly trying to toss that salad, running in 3rd, keeping these drivers separated right here on lap number 27. Of course, as I had mentioned, this week here, being championship week, want to check in, of course, with what happened on Sunday night, because I'll tell you what, the Stacey Strong Cup Series, it turned into a little bit of a marathon, but at the end of the day, Jacob Schneider runs away with the championship. And all things considered, these drivers in all 3 levels of this league have done an incredible job. Of course, Jeremy Miller only had one lap when the green flag flew. I mean, we've had some really bad luck break for some of our drivers. But so far, so good tonight here on lap number 28 of 150. Taking a look here as they run through the through the front stretch and into 1 and 2. Everybody's still pretty tight, all things considered. You know, you don't see a whole lot of real estate that's just wide open on the racetrack, which, believe me, is a blessing in disguise for some of these drivers, especially when they've spent so much of their season, you know, bumper to bumper. Now there's a little bit more room to wiggle around here. And we'll see just how comfortable Channing Ballou is as we drop into his cockpit from the gyro cam. What we're watching for right now is the gyro cam as we come out of turn 3 and 4. If he goes down here onto this apron, and he does, watch this transition. That is violent. That is one solid axle across the front wheels and the rear. And as that truck makes the transition, that will bust your kidneys all kinds of apart. Taking a look now at Jeremy Paris just behind. You can see the obvious distance, 1.84 seconds between Paris and Ballou. So the battle not necessarily hot and heavy right now, but we're going to see these times start to really shrink in as we look at Jeremy Paris. He's got Channing Ballou 1.7 seconds ahead of him right here in the lower portion of your screen. And, of course, then he has Sylvain Joly about the same distance behind him, about 1.7 seconds back there. So right now, probably the most comfortable driver on the racetrack as far as real estate goes on the CPS Chevrolet is Jeremy Paris in the 05 Silverado. Chris Claude now starting to have to deal with Brian Tarnowski as Tarnowski takes that hard transition down onto the apron. He's got it rolling pretty good right now, and he's going to start to creep in here on Chris Claude's left rear quarter panel right there on the rear of that truck bed. Of course, one of the, you can see here in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, the image of the great one, Tony Trapasso, who passed away unexpectedly for us here at Sim Racing Media, but even more unexpectedly for him. But Tony Trapasso unexpectedly passing away on September 5th, and our hearts have a large empty hole in them for the loss. Whoa, easy, Chris. The racetrack's down here, not there on the wall. As he almost crinkled that Sprite can here on lap number 35. But the hole that Tony Trapasso has left in our hearts here at Sim Racing Media is deep, and you know, we work every day to honor him by making sure that we're giving you the best quality product that we possibly can here at SRM. So we want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, into your phones, your earbuds, however you may be listening, wherever you may be, as Uncle Colin Cowherd would say. But we just want to thank you for making us a part of your family, because, you know, we've talked about this in other professional sports, and you know, when you spend, if you watch, let's just say that you spend a half hour a week with me, you know, just say that you only check in on this race for about a half hour a week. You know, in 22 weeks, that's 11 hours that we've spent together. Did you even spend 11 hours with your family on Thanksgiving last year? Probably not. No, instead, those 11 hours that you spent this year were listening to me ramble along here on Sim Racing Media, or, you know, even the Cup Series where you're looking at 36 points paying races, or, you know, the Xfinity Series at 32. I mean, that's 16 and 18 hours. That's a long time that we've spent together, and believe me, I appreciate that time that we've been able to fellowship, to hang out, and you know, watch our favorite sport. Is right now we've got a battle here between Brandon Minto and Sylvain Joly, as Minto looking to steal away third position and shuffle Sylvain into fourth. That's going to put Sylvain Joly alongside of his teammate, Gabriel Lafreniere. So maybe not a wise decision for Minto at this point here on lap number 39. We can see Joly getting a run here on the high side on turn one entry, but Minto's got him beat on exit as he gets on the throttle and shoots down the backstretch. Once again, that will put 3 out of the championship 4 drivers in the top 3 tonight here on the leaderboard. In Balou, Paris, Minto, and Lafreniere running in 5th. And believe me, he's starting to close in on his teammate just about, 1.7 seconds behind. So he won't get him this time, all things considered, in stage 1. But that definitely puts Joly in the crosshairs for Lafreniere come stage 2, especially after maybe they make a couple of adjustments to the Toyota Tundra and the F-150. We'll see what happens. Dylan Stout in the YouTube.com live chat. Minto, as he says, give Minto the cheat code so he can win again. I'll tell you what, there was no cheating last night for Brandon Minto. If you took any time to hang out toward the end of that race while the checkered flag was getting ready to fly, I mean, Brandon Minto just found an extra gear in his Xfinity Series win. And, you know, not often do I really come out of broadcaster mode, but I turned into total fanboy as Brandon Minto brought home the championship last night in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. Now, right now, we're running about 28-second laps, and Steve Herring is about 22 seconds behind the leader. So we will not see anybody get lapped here in stage number 1, a lot like last night in the Xfinity Series. So great competitive driving, even while Matt White is back here harassing Stoney Benfield in his Ford F-150. I don't think Matt's going to get around him, but we're going to keep an eye on it. As pit road going to be closed now as we approach the end of stage number 1. Matt White now looking to the inside of Stoney Benfield as Stoney tries to get himself in a position to stay away from that bumper of Matt White. Channing Ballou about a quarter of the way now, halfway through lap number 45, so we're going to see him come across the start-finish line very shortly as he shoots down the backstretch into turn 3. As he rolls into turn 3 and now out of turn 4, Channing Ballou going to cross the start-finish line. He will be your stage 1 winner. Just have to wait for 10th place Ron Fitting to cross the start-finish line as the field will freeze when Ron Fitting passes that flag stand here on lap number 46. And as he does so, the caution flag flies. Channing Ballou wins stage number 1, followed by Jeremy Paris, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Joly, Gabriel Lafreniere, Stoney Benfield, Matt White, Sean Rogers, Claude Ferland, and Ron Fitting in the number 3 Chevrolet Silverado. So pit road going to open next time by once everybody gets caught up to the pace car. As we had mentioned before, here it comes. Channing Ballou going to make that hard left turn. Let's see if he got into the Discord yet. He has not gotten there. It's going to be wholesale pit stops for basically the entire field, all 18 trucks coming down pit road. Nobody a lap down means that everybody's going to come in, so it's not just wholesale, it's y'all sale. As Channing Ballou dives into his pit box here, he is in box number 1. Claude Ferland now nestling his way into box number 3. Basically, this will rearrange everybody on pit road for just a moment, but we're going to see Channing Ballou drop the left side here and get that Silverado back underway. As everybody getting ready to come off of pit road here. This is going to be quite a knot of cars. Jeff Carson, Aaron Mack, Ron Fitting, and Brian Tarnowski, as it looks like Aaron Mack going to beat Carson off of pit road. So a pretty standard finish to the end of stage one. Channing Ballou builds himself a nice healthy lead. Now he also has the only time that's sub 27 seconds with a 26.96 lap. Jeremy Paris runs a 27.02 for his best time in stage one. And it looks like those 27.02s are going to hold up against the rest of the field. Actually, I lied. Sylvain Joly had the best time at 26.90, so 0.06 of a second between Joly and Ballou. So obviously Sylvain has the speed early on in the run. We'll have to wait and see what happens as we get deeper into the run. The iRacing.com pace car making the hard left turn down pit road. Channing Ballou opting for the high side this time as he brings us into turn 3. He hits the Geico restart zone, the loud pedal all at the same time, and we're back underway. Ballou getting a jump over Jeremy Paris as Brandon Minto, Sylvain Joly, and Paris all going to be vying for that second position now. You have to believe that Paris and Minto are just trying to get Lafreniere around his teammate Joly, so those four drivers can duke it out. That way we can throw a blanket over them and focus on the rest of this field. But right now, it looks like Lafreniere still kind of hung out here behind Sylvain Joly as they get ready to go single file. While they go single file, Brandon Minto takes the dog leg here on lap number 51, and he wants to go for P2 and try to swing some of that momentum right in front of Sylvain Joly's nose as he holds that bottom line here through 1 and 2 and onto the backstretch. He manages to hold it all together. Ballou with 0.3 of a second over Paris. We see some other battles breaking out here. Once again, Sean Rogers and Stoney Benfield going at it hot and heavy tonight. Kind of a contrast in driver styles here as the Hooters car is racing against the faster Pastor. Dylan Stout said those last 3 laps were insane. Dylan, listen, usually I'm just kind of planted here in my broadcast booth, you know, sitting in my chair, but I had to get up last night and it, you know, like I said before, it's not often that I go full-on fanboy, but last night I did, and I was shameless about it. And while Stoney Benfield and Sean Rogers get ready to try to take on Stoney Benfield and Sean Rogers get ready to battle it out once again, we're going to step aside here. This is the Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Championship Week in their Truck Series right here on Sim Racing Media, the voice of TNN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. During the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that. So the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway here in the Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series. Channing Ballou has led every lap of this race so far this evening in the number 88 Zinn nicotine pouch Chevrolet Silverado. Jeremy Paris running in P2, while Brandon Minto has worked his way up 3 spots from where he had qualified back in 6th to be running here on the podium in P3. Sylvain Jolie still running in 4th position, while Matt White has battled his way through playoff driver Gabriel Lafreniere and Claude Ferland to finally let his cream rise to the top here in the top 5. The faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, running in 8th, harassing Claude Ferland, who had a misstep early on in tonight's race. As Claude running in 7th position, Sean Rogers in 9th, holding off Aaron Mack for just a moment, but right now Aaron Mack starting to show some strength here as these two Silverados going to duel it out going down the backstretch. Sean Rogers going to be the victor this time. Want to remind everybody to head on over to simracingmedia.com and check out our shop with all kinds of some cool stuff that you can pick up. Get your Sim Racing Media gear, of course, the polo shirt, the fabled hoodie, a couple of t-shirts that we've got going on right now. So make sure that you head on over, especially as winter coming around. The fabled hoodie on sale right now for $45. You can check that out. But plenty to do over here on simracingmedia.com. Taking a look elsewhere in the world of sports, as Channing Ballou, we're going to just focus on this front 3 right now. You can throw a blanket over them, as Brandon Minto's got 1.3 seconds back here. Claude Ferland, though, side by side with the faster pastor, as Stoney Benfield in his Ford F-150 get a little bobbly here coming into 3. It's going to cost him a little bit of time here behind Claude Ferland. But elsewhere in the world of sports tonight, the NBA absolutely having an off night. Not one team playing tonight in the National Basketball Association. The Montreal Canadiens currently being blanked by the Tampa Bay Lightning with 13:10 left in the third period, 4-0 up in Montreal. The Sabres and the Hurricanes all knotted up at 2 in the third period. as all of a sudden we had some weird audio bleed through. That was interesting. The Minnesota Wild are tied with the New York Islanders 2-2 on Long Island. At the end of the second period, though, the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden lead the Detroit Red Wings 5-0. So some doubleheader action in New York for hockey. So I guess maybe a little bit of blue and orange with the red, white, and blue mixing here. The St. Louis Blues trailing the Winnipeg Jets 3-1 in St. Louis. The Seattle Kraken lead the Coyotes 1-0 in the first period. And then, of course, some real West Coast swing action tonight as the Flames and the Predators going to face off at 9. The Devils visiting the Avalanche starting at 10 o'clock over on TNT. The Anaheim Ducks play host to the Pittsburgh Penguins at 10 p.m. And at 10:30, your nightcap, my Philadelphia Flyers and the San Jose Sharks. Of course, the Sharks 0-10-1 on the season as the Flyers 5-6-1 going to face off. Ruth Gardner in here saying, let's go faster, Pastor. So, as always, it looks like Stoney's got himself the larger of the contingent so far. Make sure that you tell your friends and family about what we do here on Sim Racing Media and, of course, in the Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series. It's been a long season. We've got the off-season coming up. Of course, some off-season recruitment races going to be happening probably in late December, early January as we prepare to go to Daytona in February. And, you know, that's something that we always kind of, we kick around that whole thing. You know, you think, it's an off season, we've got plenty of time, but a lot of these drivers are going to be spending their winters, you know, honing that racecraft. And quite frankly, after watching what Brandon Minto did last night in the Xfinity Series, I can't wait to see what he comes back with next year. Of course, Aaron Mack, one of his fellow Championship 4 drivers in the Xfinity Series, not able to get it done, but next year promises to be another year of contention for him. Aaron Mack only picked up, you know, that one win there early in the season at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. So, of course, as we get ready to go back to Daytona in February, I'm sure that he will be prepared, if you will. Jeff Carson right now running shotgun on the field, 24 seconds behind Channing Ballou with about 6 laps to go here in stage number 1. Kind of an interesting thing here is, you know, Jeff is usually just out kind of trying to relax, keep it steady. And, you know, we haven't had anybody get lapped yet tonight. And Jeff, with these 6 laps to go, is definitely in danger of that, more so than usual, here on lap number 84. Just 0.3 of a second separating Sean Rogers from Aaron Mack. As Aaron Mack now getting a run on Rogers here. They're the closest battle so far. They went from 0.3 of a second, slice it in half at now 0.13 seconds as Mack gets the run on him going down the backstretch. He's still tighter and not able to hold that yellow line like Rogers is. So Rogers having the edge there, and now Mack thinking maybe he can try to get underneath him as they go through the dog leg. These two drivers going to battle it out at least for a few moments more as Aaron Mack looks to the inside of Sean Rogers. This is the battle for for 9th position. And we see Rogers now reopening that lead to about 0.3 of a second over Aaron Mack. So maybe Sean Rogers not phased that much. As he starts to kind of fall behind Claude Furland. Looks like Aaron Mack taking another run at him. Coming down the back chute. That's pit road there on their left, your top of the screen. And Sean Rogers once again getting the run and protecting 9th position. So obviously, these two drivers, although they may not be in the Championship 4, still have some pride to race for. Of course, your Championship 4 consisting of Jeremy Paris, Channing Ballou, Brandon Minto, and Gabriel Lafreniere. Pit road being closed now here on lap number 89. At the conclusion of lap number 90, we will crown the Stage 2 winner, and right now you can throw a blanket over him. Looks like it's going to go to Channing Ballou, who's still chasing down Jeff Carson. Not much of a time difference, about 2 seconds between the two drivers, and as he crosses the start-finish line, this will be the final lap of stage number 2. Channing Ballou leading us through turns 1 and 2 one more time here, followed by Jeremy Paris, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Joly, Matt White, Gabriel Lafreniere, Stoney Benfield, and Claude Ferland, your top 8. As we'll be waiting for Sean Rogers at this point to cross that start-finish line. And as he turns out of turn number 4, Channing Ballou going to take home the Stage 2 win. But here on the last lap of Stage 2, Sean Rogers looks to the inside now of Aaron Mack. And as they cross the start-finish line, the caution flag flies. And that will conclude stage number 2. Channing Ballou followed by Jeremy Paris, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Joly, Matt White, Gabriel Lafreniere, Stoney Benfield, Claude Ferland, Aaron Mack, and Sean Rogers, your top 10. And once again, going to be wholesale pit stops as they come down. John Wilco still, there he is, coming in. So it should be all 18 drivers coming down pit road. It's about to pick up some business here as the tire changers and the fuel men get on the wall, ready to rock and roll. Channing Ballou leading the field through here. Brandon Minto going to be slightly behind as he's going to be in pit stall number 6. He was quick last night on pit road. We'll see how much quicker he is as Channing Ballou also in for pit service. They put the right side of the truck up. Of course, just ahead of him time-wise was Brandon Minto. Minto getting ready to drop down the left side. The left side now up on Channing Ballou. And Ballou and Paris going to race each other off of pit road. Brandon Minto as well. So they're going to come off just about the same way that they came in. Ballou, Paris, Minto, Joly, Lafreniere, Ferland, Benfield, Rogers, Wilco, and Aaron Mack. So John Wilco has now split Aaron Mack and Sean Rogers, McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own. I don't see John Wilco in the Discord chat here. I was going to bring him in here, but unfortunately he is not there. The iRacing.com pace car light's already out, so that means that we will be going green flag racing this time by. When they come by and take the green flag, there will be officially 55 laps left in the 2023 Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series. And I'm expecting these next 55 laps to be blistering fast as now everybody nice and comfortable in their trucks here. As the Silverados and the Tundras and the F-150s all get themselves lined up 2 by 2. Channing Ballou having control of the field, gets into the Geico restart zone, stands on the throttle, and gets back underway. Jeremy Paris once again not able to catch up to him here as the green flag flies. We're going to turn it up right here on Sim Racing Media.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D Cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans.
Well, we hate to break in the middle of our of our commercial break. But right here at Phoenix Raceway, our first caution for cause of the night brought out by Matt White. And we're going to watch him here in the 48. They're going to come out of turn number 1, and you're going to watch that number 48 Chevrolet Silverado just continue to rotate on the way out of 2. Maybe a little bit of contact. Oh, a little bit of contact there from Sean Rogers in the 44. That's going to enable everybody to come in for the money stop. Here comes the contact from Rogers, and then almost as if karma came back and bit him right in the face, Rogers gets it again. In fact, let's see if we can just get a hold of Sean Rogers' roof cam here. And it looks like Rogers gave him a little bit of a love tap. Oh, that'll be it. Had to step away for a moment, folks, and check in with Chief Cook and Bottle Washer Chris Claude to make sure that penalties were assessed properly here. Sean Rogers going to take the EOL. Channing Ballou going to have control of the field as our second caution for cause of the evening comes out with 35 laps to go. So everybody just making the money stop here on lap 114. Steve Herring opting to stay on pit road. Not sure why. So Channing Ballou going to have control of the field as he hits the restart zone and fires away. Gonna have to keep an eye out for those cold tires as that bug can really wreak havoc here as the field comes through 1 and 2 nice and clean. And we are under caution again as Sean Rogers again has crashed. That may send him to Dairy Queen land, as he was right in front of Matt White. Yeah, they were hooked up. And maybe a little bit of a push. Oh. Yeah, somebody's going to have to take responsibility for that. We're going to see this again from right here, from our eye in the sky, a shove from Matt White, and that sends Rogers spinning. And then a little bit of an accordion effect, which takes Ron Fitting along with it. And we are back under caution nearly immediately. So your championship for tonight, Channing Ballou and Jeremy Paris running in 1 and 2. Brandon Minto running in 4th position with Claude Ferlin in 5th. So once again, Sylvain Joly, the thorn between 4 roses, if you will. .30 laps left in the 2023 Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series. Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As always, thank you for making us a part of your evening and for making us a part of your season. Minto's high school nickname was Minto Pinto Beans, if I need a new one. Oh, I'm getting him for that one. The Michigan Rocker cheering on, saying, "Go, Brandon." The neighborhood is rooting for you, so I'm hoping that the Michigan Rocker is Uncle Scott, because I'll tell you what, Uncle Scott, you have made yourself, by accident, a minor celebrity, if you will, in this league, as we know that you're always cracking open those Miller Lights with your nephew Brandon, and I know that he always makes sure to give you the credit that is due. And I'll tell you what, it's just something real special that we get to see with Brandon, and we know that, you know, he had to fly this morning in training, so now he's got a night to celebrate maybe a little bit more heavily here in the Craftsman Truck Series. And I have to say, as somebody who grew up during that time in NASCAR history, I'm glad to see Craftsman coming back to sponsor the Truck Series. Not that there was anything wrong with Camping World, but Craftsman just feels like that's a thing. Like, Craftsman just feels right. It's like a comfortable pair of shoes or your favorite hoodie on a cold winter day. Channing Ballou opting for the top line once again as we rack them, stack them, and get ready to do it all over again. 30 laps left, now less than 30 to go when we come back to the line in the 2023 season. And this race is far from over yet. Cautions aside, you know, you have to understand that a lot of these drivers have been saving their equipment to get to this point, and here we are. As we move through turn 2, the iRacing.com pace car makes that turn down pit road. As we've seen so many times throughout the last few days here at Phoenix, we know that pit road is incredibly long here. You know, this racetrack itself, a unique shape, as it were. Taking a look here, 71 degrees still on the track temperature, so pretty nice and comfy here as the sun has definitely gone down in Phoenix. And Channing Ballou takes the green flag here, and we are back underway. Let's see if we can get through this nice and clean this time by. Everybody getting through turns 1 and 2 nice and safely as we head back out to where Channing Ballou is setting the pace tonight here in the 88. Everybody's starting to get single filed out here. Ballou and Paris and Minto up atop the pile. Sylvain Joly between Gabriel Lafreniere and his fellow championship four-year. Ooh, and Lafreniere catching a little bit of wall here. Slides him back to Sylvain Joly. So he is tucked comfortably between a pair of teammates from north of the border. Oh! And Rich Jet goes a-spinning. Rich Jet, the truck has to be going the opposite direction. Rich. Hey, Rich. Got to go the other way. There you go. Get it pointed. We'll see what happened with Rich back here. Rich Jet battling it out with Brian Tarnowski. Just as they roll out of 4, Jet could not stop the double natural from rotating, and he just bites the big one. The lucky driver right here, though, Chris Claude, who had just enough time to check up, and we're going to see if we can maybe look at that from Chris's perspective, because I'll tell you what, he was one of those drivers that he saw it happen and had just enough time to get checked up. And maybe an even better view going to be from Matt White. Matt White sees them getting closer, and he's able to see Rich Jet start to rotate, and he just gets right on the binders. And we'll take one more look here from Randall Watkins' perspective from his roll bar. And of course, Randall Watkins from Miami, Florida. There it is. And he manages to stay high and get out of the way. So that's going to put Jet on pit road. Channing Ballou going to be back here with 25 to go, as all of a sudden the old term cautions breed cautions ringing so true here, coming to the end of the 2023 Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series season. We're going to hear one more time from our friends over at Trisha's Hope right here on SRM.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. As like during the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
19 laps to go in the Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com 2023 season. Channing Ballou has dominated this race from flag to flag so far, as we've just had our third caution of stage number 3, fourth for cause overall. Jeremy Paris now trailing once again Channing Ballou, as Sylvain Joly still blocking off Brandon Minto, keeping him away from that podium position one more time this season. Ballou has already won stages 1 and 2, and now with 18 laps to go and laying down 27-second laps, we're going to see some incredible speed out of him, as nobody has come down pit road since lap 114. Everybody pretty much on that same, at least in the top 8, but everybody pretty much on the same pit strategy all the way through Matt White in the 48, who was just scuffled up there with the 44 of Sean Rogers. Channing Ballou rolling out of turn number 2 once again, 17 to go. And this has been Jeremy Paris's view all night long, just that rear tailgate of the 88. And we saw him a little loose there in 1 and 2. We'll see him dive down here into 3. And he's got this one nice and smooth. He's going to walk it back out toward the cactus. Little bump steering here, and then taking that hard transition between the racing surface and the apron. And here's where we're going to see him. He's got a little bit of a tight condition, and then it loosens up on his way out of 2 as he walks it out of 2 once again. Stoney Benfield still trying to chase down Claude Ferland for 5th position and get another top 5 on the season for the Faster Pastor. As we check in with our YouTube.com live chat, we're all still pulling for you, Faster Pastor, says Ruth Gardner. Kip Cook cheering on the Faster Pastor. Of course, the Michigan Rocker hoping for another good finish out of Brandon Minto tonight, as he would get to hoist a second series trophy tonight if he is able to pull off a win. But right now, it just seems like Channing Ballou is way too strong all night long, as he's now got about 0.7 of a second over Jeremy Paris. Meanwhile, Stoney Benfield working the low side of Sylvain Joly, the Faster Pastor, showing who's faster in a battle with our Canadian contingent here, as now that puts Stoney Benfield right in a field of Canadians between Sylvain Joly, Claude Ferland, and Gabriel Lafreniere. Taking a look right now at Channing Ballou here in the 88. He has got 10 wins on the season. This will be number 11 if he can bring it home the rest of the way, barring any kind of catastrophe. Jeremy Paris hot on his heels. Brandon Minto, as I had mentioned earlier, the only driver in the Championship 4 without a win this season. Running right now, his Miller Lite number 12 Chevrolet Silverado in 3rd position. Sylvain Joly running in 4th. While Stoney Benfield starting to creep up here as he has gotten into the top 5, has just served Sylvain Joly some Canadian bacon and said, give me the real stuff off the belly of that pig there. And gets around. Of course, Stoney Benfield from North Carolina, the leading pork-producing state in the United States. Not that you need to know that, but why not? Stoney Benfield now running in 4th position, trying to chase down Brandon Minto. There's about a full second between those two drivers with 9 laps to go here in the 2023 season. Gabriel Lafreniere running in 7th position. He has not performed as well as he had hoped to tonight in the Championship 4 night here at Phoenix Raceway. Right now, Channing Ballou, Jeremy Paris, and Brandon Minto the best chance of bringing home the 2023 championship trophy, as it looked just there as we were ready to switch away that Matt White wants to look to the inside of Gabriel Lafreniere. White able to hold that lower line as he is on the fresher tires, about 12 laps fresher over Lafreniere. But right now, that Oxymore F-150 just so strong here with 7 laps to go on lap 144. Matt White looks to the inside. He's got that left rear quarter panel, but still can't get away from the tailgate of Lafreniere, as now he looks once again as they get ready to haul it off into the dog leg. And maybe Matt White's got him this time. Nope. Gabriel just too strong late here in this race with 6 laps to go. Once again, Channing Ballou with now a more than 1 second lead over Jeremy Paris, so you can pretty much throw a blanket over that top 3 unless Stoney Benfield is able to suddenly pull off a miracle and catch up to Minto, as Minto is almost a full second, 9/10 of a second over top of Stoney. Haven't checked on him lately, but John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, your biggest mover of the night, +8 on the leaderboard as he started in 17th position and currently running in 9th. So he has gotten himself comfortably here into the top 10 as he works just underneath Matt White. 4 to go now. We'll take a look from our eye in the sky as it looked like Wilco is ready to give Matt White a run for his money. He's getting another run on White, but not enough, as White is still trying to battle it out with Lafreniere. 3 to go. Channing Ballou out of Pensacola, Florida, leaves turn number 4. The Popsicle Sticks go in the air. We're 2 to go here in the 2023 Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series, as he has absolutely dominated this entire race, as he won the first 2 stages. Now he's getting ready to bring home that checkered flag and, of course, the 2023 championship trophy. Ballou with 10 wins on the season, 13 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, comes into tonight as a free agent. The Popsicle Sticks go down, the white flag is in the air, and we are racing back to checkers. Pensacola, Florida, of course, home to Pensacola Naval Air Station, and an incredible museum out there. Make sure you take a look at it as Channing Ballou rolls through turns 3 and 4. He crosses the start-finish line, and Channing Ballou from Pensacola, Florida, is your 2023 Jack Dowel Simulators and eSports iRacing.com Truck Series. Channing Ballou, Jeremy Paris, and Brandon Minto going to finish on the podium tonight. We'll hear from those 3 drivers. Gabriel Lafreniere in our championship 4, not able to crack into the top 5 at the end of this race, as he just did not have it. Congratulatory comments all around, but the biggest congratulations of the evening belong to Channing Ballou out of Pensacola, Florida. Hey, Channing, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me? Man, listen, the Ice Pilots are going to be proud of you tonight. Yeah, absolutely. You dominated this race from start to finish. I mean, and realistically, because we have a 22 race season, you wind up with 11 wins on the year. You won half the races. I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, basically, every time you showed up and logged in, you were almost guaranteed to be on the podium, if not at the top step. You know, I swear you and Mike Wright must go to the Nick Saban School of Coaching because, you know, I realize that you're there in the panhandle of Florida, but Nick Saban not too far away in Alabama. He's the only coach I know that can beat a team 75-3 and say, well, we didn't play our best football because we allowed 3 points. Here you are bringing home the season championship saying, we could have been better. Hey, trust me, I get it, man. Well, listen, you know, as we close out the 2023 season, what are you thinking as 2024 approaches and Daytona looms in February? Yeah, man, listen, trust me, I totally understand. Well, listen, we appreciate everything that you've done this season, all the success that you've had. Forgive me, folks, as I just swallowed. Thank you. It's definitely changed the weather season here in the Northeast. But listen, congratulations again, and we will see you in February in just a few weeks, or 2 months. Here I was just joking about you living in Florida, but realistically, yep, roll tide, man. All right. Look at you. All right, brother. Listen, congratulations. That, of course, your 2023 Jack Dowel Simulators and Esports iRacing.com Truck Series champion. Next on the podium and on our list is going to be Jeremy Paris. Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? I'm good, man. Listen, Flowery Branch was proud of you tonight for putting on the show that you did, but, you know, just couldn't get it done against Channing Blue. He was just too much all night long. How are you feeling after finishing second this year? Yeah, and now you bring up an interesting point. You know, you're looking already at 2024. What are you thinking about as the offseason comes into play? You know, maybe some practice time and, of course, Daytona looming in just a few months. It really will. I mean, as you know, football season, of course, you know, I tell everybody my year usually revolves around baseball season. So, you know, once Daytona comes around, I'm like, oh, well, we've already got spring training underway in Florida. So I know that it's just a few short days away. We're just about at that 100-day mark. So congratulations here in the 2023 season. Who do you need to tip your helmet to for this run tonight and, of course, your 2023 season? right, man. Well, listen, congratulations once again, and we will see you in Daytona in a few months. That, of course, the voice of Jeremy Paris. He finishes second tonight, second in points for the 2023 season. Last but certainly not least in our hearts here in the broadcast booth, Mr. Brandon Minto, the pride of Norman, Oklahoma, bringing along Uncle Scott for the third step on the podium tonight. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Hey, man, listen, maybe not as exciting as last night because, of course, last night you get to hoist that Xfinity trophy, but you still battled it out tonight. You had a lot of traffic to battle through as you gained 3 spots from where you had qualified. Take us through this race. Yeah, I know you said that you had some training to do earlier today, of course, in the Air Force. So, we do appreciate that you're able to split your time between serving the country and, of course, serving your need for speed right here on iRacing.com. Before we cut you loose, I know Uncle Scott's getting his shout out in a moment. Who else do you need to tip your helmet to for the 2023 run here in the Jack Dowel Simulators in the eSports iRacing.com Truck Series? All you're going to see is me losing my mind again. It certainly was. I share all of your sentiments, that's for sure, because I'll tell you what, it's a combined 90 races between the 90 points paying races, that is, between the 3 series. So it's a long season from start to finish between Cup, Xfinity, and Truck. So congratulations once again, my man, and we will see you in February in just a few short months. All right, brother man. Well, folks, that was the voice of Brandon Minto, and this is the conclusion of the 2023 SNN family of racing. And I'll tell you what, I cannot be more grateful for what we get to experience every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday right here on Sim Racing Media. These drivers put on such a great show for all of us. And, you know, like I just said, 90 points paying races broadcast right here on Sim Racing Media. It's an incredible feat for one league, much less, you know, 3 separate divisions in that league. So, you know, these drivers have a ton of dedication. I mean, you know, there are some drivers that are here all 3 nights of that week. So, you know, of course, we just want to make sure we give them the recognition that they deserve, because I'm out of breath for this season, folks. But, of course, you can always tune in next week on Tuesday night for the SCL Late Model Series, as yours truly will be in the broadcast booth for that on Tuesday evening. We'll get you some details on that. You can always pay attention on the Sim Racing Media Facebook page. Of course, always make sure that you head on over to simracingmedia.com, check out our merch store, and keep up with everything that we have going on here at Sim Racing Media. One last look here at our final results. Channing Ballou brings home the checkered flag and the 2023 Truck Series Championship, joined on the podium by Jeremy Paris and Brandon Minto. Stoney Benfield finishes in 4th, nearly getting onto the podium, but didn't have enough to get around Minto. Sylvain Joly rounds out your top 5, while Claude Furland finishes in 6th. Matt White brings home 7th position, while Gabriel Lafreniere, your 4th of the championship 4 drivers tonight, rounding out your top 8. Ron Fitting and Randall Watkins make up the top 10, as Randall, one of his best finishes of the season once again from Miami, Florida. Of course, the Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue retiree. Glad to call him my brother from another mother. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, representing the 570, brings home 11th position, while Fairview, Tennessee's very own Chris Claude, the chief cook and bottle washer for everything that we do here amongst these 3 divisions, finishes in 12th. Brian Tarnowski finishes 13th, while Rich Jett in the 77 finishes 14th. Aaron Mack in 15th. Jeff Carson and Sean Rogers finished 16th and 17th, respectively. And last but not least, Steve Herring in the 89 brings home 18th position. And I'll tell you what, folks, this has just been an incredible opportunity all year long to share my voice with you folks at home. We're glad that for every one of you that checked in with our youtube.com live chat over the season. And I'll tell you what, it's just such an exciting event here. So thank you, everybody. Dylan Stout getting the last comment of the year here in our live chat as we get ready to close it out. And tomorrow, and until we meet again in February at Daytona International Speedway, I want to remind you folks that you're special. You're the only one like you, and that's fine. Good night, everybody.